did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap-ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu. And I'm that spitter, baby, they don't want you to see, but everybody's south of Capitol Hill's rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and ponder getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dudes is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah,
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
That Dre season is here, a real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz, and I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average shit. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game, I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers, I'm knocking my own flame, I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your penny line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged a bond. And they already know what it is when I get on. To the hearse, party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I probably cracking my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete, I'm a verbal athlete. Deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Yeah, I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping, but I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building, my whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here laying this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
I just wanna live. God protect me. I just wanna live. I just wanna live.
Grand Rising, everybody out there. Happy Friday to you. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday. And of course, I got my co-host with me, co-host with the most.
I'm on camera. There's no hiding me.
No,
you can't.
I don't even get to throw it to you anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm here. Good morning. It's Friday. It's Feel Good Friday. Thank God it's Friday. All that good stuff.
I know. We've been having a great first week in Studio E. This has been an amazing week. Some amazing guests, and we're going to continue today.
Yeah, no doubt. And I can't wait. You know what people are seeing right now? This is like phase one of our actual studio space, and I think that we'll be sharing a lot more here soon. We've really got a really big space here, much bigger than our other one, and it's a lot of customizations that are happening and coming in. And then also, I got good news. I just got off the phone with our internet service provider. Our fiber is coming in today. So like a lot of people you've noticed here this week, you're used to seeing like a really different kind of signal, and we've had to reduce like basically the quality of our signal this week. But you know, the show must go on. So I'm excited. They said, is there a time today that we can install the fiber? I said, anytime.
We'll work around.
Like, I was thinking about going out of town today. I was like, what? Anytime. I'll be right here. But let me get right into it. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. And right now is a perfect opportunity for you to tag and share the stream. Go ahead and tag and share the stream with people who you feel would appreciate culturally relevant news and information emanating from right here in the Emerald City. Want to give a big shout out to our partners over at the South Seattle Emerald and KBCS 91.3 over at Bellevue College. Speaking of KBCS and our guest today, we've got Ashley McGirt, our favorite therapist in the building. And the segment that you and Ashley did a while back, they actually aired the other morning on the Grit, on 91.3.
Wow.
Those are our good buddies over there.
I'm glad, because that's the one thing about this content. We've talked about it before, that is timeless. At the end of the day, man, making sure that the messages are out there, that's the important part. So I'm glad. Thanks, y'all, for airing that.
Yep, no doubt. And what else do we have here? Always a reminder, you can catch the Morning Update Show anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast. Right now, they're putting SoundCloud there in the link, and you can check it out there, but also Google, Spotify, iTunes, anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast, just search Converge Media Network. A great way to support Black-owned independent media and going into election season and letting people know that it's no excuses is to visit whereweconverge.com/shop. You see it right there on the screen. That's the squad. Man, that was a great day. We took that photo, the squad photo. We appreciate your support, and it's no excuses. And by the way, this is a multi-use shirt, right? So yeah, we're saying it's political season, no excuses. Maybe you got issue in your relationship, no excuses. Maybe you're a boss and people are like, hey, this and that. No excuses. So, you can use this anywhere, buy one time, wear everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that message.
Yeah, of course. As usual, man, there's a lot of things that are rapidly changing around COVID here in our city, accounting across the country. Want to remind everybody that the COVID-19 vaccine is readily available. 100% is available in King County. It's available for free. All three types of vaccination there, Moderna, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson. And in many cases, they can actually come to your house to vaccinate you. If you are looking for a vaccine here in King County, please click the link there and go for that. And like I said, Trey, things are rapidly changing. Today is Friday. This set very well might look very different on Monday as well, to accommodate any kind of guidelines that are coming down from public health and from Governor Inslee.
Yeah, it's important. As we said, and we talked about this yesterday with Karmaz Ahalat, that it's really important that we understand what the information is right now. It's just the exact reason why we started the Morning Update Show, because we realized there was so much information coming out, and it was hard for everybody to decipher through it all. So as we're learning more, we want to keep you guys updated and informed.
Yeah, no, definitely, no doubt. And in this conversation, when we talk about the vaccine and vaccine hesitancy and everything else, the conversation might not be more important than right now. Next week, we're going to be going back heavy into news coverage. And you see that across the country, on either sides of this issue, there's people who are like, man, you know what? We're not going to listen to government. We find it down there in Texas and Florida. Both the governors in those states have said that, man, there can't be masks. And you got the school boards in Texas and in Florida who are like, I don't care what the governor says. These kids are going to wear masks in school, right? And so that's that side of the issue. On the other side of the issue, you got places and cities where, restaurants and venues are like, you have to wear a mask to come in. And now you have people organizing boycotts. They're like, oh, word? Okay, we just ain't going to give you our money. You know what I'm saying? Or we're just going to, be defiant. So in states where they're like, you have to wear a mask, you have people who are like, nah, we're not going to wear no mask. In the states, they're saying you don't have to wear a mask. You have people going against what governors and governments are saying. This is going to be very interesting here as to how it plays out across the country. Seattle is very much in its own bubble when it's come to COVID. And it's been like that. That's why we have one of the lowest COVID rates of the top 30 cities in America. But the rest of the country, we're really going to keep an eye on. And Jake Grabrod also told me something that venues now are already starting to cancel shows.
Yeah, it's something where everybody is making the proper adjustments. Again, as we see these numbers spike, it's important that we understand that we need to make these adjustments. We need to shift. We need to pivot. We need to be learning from it. I think one of the big things that I keep hearing out there is people saying, it's like the government is toying with us, right? Like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. And so maybe they're just doing this testing to try to figure out what they can get people to do or not do. But ultimately, at the end of the day, man, people have been dying from this, and it's important that we take it seriously, yo.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're black in America. Government's always been toying with us. Right. So, I mean, I think we have to move past that and be like, okay, what is this? The vaccine, is it, it's all about. And speaking of that, though, Converge Media, we want to continue to leave space and grace for those in our community that are hesitant about the vaccination, especially those that are seeking more information, which is different than an anti-vaxxers. Just always going to be anti-vaxxers. But we have a good percentage of people in our community who are hesitant because they don't feel that there's enough information or informed about it. Want to bring this up, our vaccination stories. You can go to whereweconverge.com/post, and you can read some stories of people, who we know around the neighborhood and around the region who got vaccinated, and also people who are hesitant about being vaccinated. And one of the things that we've come across, and King County Council member Gurmai Zahalai spoke about yesterday, it's a lot of misinformation out there.
Yeah. I mean, he put it out there real clear that, that's the biggest thing that we're dealing with right now is misinformation. And I think as we've seen, with the technology era really booming, a lot of us are getting very specific information through our feeds, right? It's real specific. It's like this algorithm is designed for you to give you information that it thinks you're going to click into. So the ideas around what is misinformation is real. And then really, I got to say, the point you brought up yesterday in terms of like factions being created to do misinformation, to lead us in a certain direction is real.
I think what was interesting too about Councilmember Zahalai's statement yesterday about his update on his social media feed was that wasn't like a troll that came through there. Very specific on the information of misinformation, which means that there's just people in the community who are, it's not rumor, they're actively, putting misinformation out there. And I mean, black folks, we catch it on every single end. I say it all the time, when America sneezes, black folks catch a cold, we catch pneumonia.
Yeah.
A lot of times we die, you know what I'm saying? And so things that impact the America in a larger sense, man, the impact on us is always so much more. So we, like I said, we want to leave a lot of space and grace for people in our community. We want to be able to have informed conversations. And one thing Converge is never going to do is we're not going to shame you. You know what I'm saying? We want to be able to educate you more so you can make these informed decisions here. Here we go. Changing the energy here. Our campaign continues.
Unbelievable, man. He's the best player in the world. I'm glad he's on my side. And going into a game 7, you want the best player in the world on your side.
The backyard got mountains in it. I do not move until my accountant finish. Big mason jars, each one an ounce.
I love that ad. Honestly, I love the campaign. You guys go on over to Instagram right now. If you're not already following our guy, Jake Grabrot, please do. We're trying to make sure we get him over the 10,000 benchmark, huge benchmark for any of you who are having, followers on IG. Me and my little 1,300, we're way far from 10K, but follow walk.into.the.life. Get some great imagery and stories out of our guy, Jake Grabrot.
Yeah, you got Instagram, D'Amico? Okay.
D'Amico probably got thousands of followers.
We picking up somebody today. And let me let everybody know. And actually, after this part here, we'll turn the show over to Trey. And Trey's got quite a few interviews here. But we have Ashley McGirt in the building. We got some look at that. Handcrafted motion graphics here, photo. As well as Deontay Damper. And they're both from the Washington Therapy Fund Foundation. And they got some great news to share with us. And about what they're doing and about a recent funding that they have and where they're going with it. And this is real exciting because I'm pretty sure if I hop in the time machine that I've got some footage somewhere of Ashley McGirt saying, man, I'm trying to start this foundation and we want to be able to do this and that and everything else. And I'll also say this before I get out of here is, this week we really wanted to talk to people who've been with us on the long haul for the Morning Update show. Ashley McGirt has been at every single Converge studio. The whole time the Morning Update show was on air, Ashley has been at every single studio that we've been at. And I thought like the first week we really wanted to call people and, kind of say thank you. You know what I'm saying? So
I love that.
Yep. And you guys heard me say D'Amico. We got D'Amico Parker Jr. in the look at that. Looking good in that Kings hat right there. Student athlete and part of Baseball Beyond Borders. And you see Trey's wearing her Baseball Beyond Borders hat today. The Kings are in the building. And also our good friend and buddy Bookie Gates. Bookie Gates is here as well. And Bookie and D'Amico are going to update us. The Kings went down there to Florida. They played in the RBI World Series. They came up a little bit short, but, man, it was a big deal. It was the first time participating the team from Seattle in 25 years in baseball, and they went down there and they represented well. This is an amazing story, and we have to continue to uplift our young people and uplift programs like Baseball Beyond Borders. It's a lot of things going on in our community get uplift where these kids are in trouble, or somebody needs to do this, or somebody's going to jail, or somebody's in court, and they get a lot of spotlight, they get a lot of uplift and a lot of resources. We cannot forget these programs who've been diligent throughout the years, constantly uplifting our young people, taking them everywhere. They were down in Compton, California when they won the West, and we talked to Bookie last, and then down in Florida. Travel also changes young people's perspective on things. Baseball Beyond Borders is such a wonderful program, and very excided to have them here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get into these interviews after the break because clearly
you're excited to kick me off.
Oh man, I didn't want to say it like that. We got to make sure we get them, nice and comfortable, man. That's what it's about. But really, you're right. Just some really great stories that we get to follow up on. And I got to say, Ashley McGirt has always come when we called her, and I can almost get emotional about it because it was at a time where our people needed to hear from somebody with her expertise around COVID. Man, we were talking about deep issues, and so I'm really glad that they're here today.
Yeah, I think the last time that Ashley was in studio, and this was just down the street, the other studios, when we did our special on suicide, and as well with the ERPO. And everything else, and that special, and that's actually part of that special is what KBCS was playing the other day, and it's still relevant and everything else. And so, yeah, I'm excited for you, and I'm excited for our guests, and I want to welcome all you guys here to this new space in this very special week. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, Trey Holiday is joined by D'Amico Parker Jr. and Bookie Gates. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Hey guys, it's Besa Gordon from Converge Media. You can catch me on my show Rewind with Besa, which airs every other Saturday at 2 p.m. anywhere you watch Converge Media. Now, I know a lot of us still have questions about the COVID-19 vaccine. However, here are a couple things you don't have to question. Everyone 12 years and older in Washington State are now eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine. It's free, and you don't even need insurance or citizenship status to get vaccinated. If you still have questions, and I know you probably do, you can visit kingcounty.gov/COVID for additional information. You can also call the King County COVID-19 call center at 206-477-3977 to get COVID-19 and the vaccination questions answered, get translation services if needed, set up an in-home vaccination appointment for yourself or someone you know may not be comfortable at a vaccination site due to a disability, anxiety, or other reasons. Look, with summer being here, now is the time to get all your COVID-19 vaccination questions answered so we can all get out the house and live our best lives again.
Market Street Shoes, slinging kicks since 2006, with styles that support you and yours, getting the F outside or staying comfy when you just want to lounge indoors as well. But wait, Market Street Shoes is way more than just a shoe store. Gear up for your next outdoor adventure with apparel and accessories that'll have you looking good on the streets, the trail, or even in your own backyard. With locations in Ballard, Redmond, and online at marketstreetshoes.com, there's undoubtedly a style and size that'll fit your lifestyle.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday, and joining me right now on set is D'Amico Parker Jr. and Bookie Gates from Baseball Beyond Borders. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got to start off because, young king in the building here. And Bookie said, look, I've been on a lot of times, but we got to get one of our star players to come on here and tell their experience. So I know you guys did a lot this season, right? Just want to hear from you how this experience with Baseball Beyond Borders has affected you personally, D'Amico.
It's affected me very greatly and bigly in a positive way because just me being able to reach out to my friends from school and maybe even my cousins, just like family and friends from school, and try to bring them on my team. It's like great chemistry, and I get to know them better, and it's just fun. I get to learn more and have fun while I'm doing it.
Well, one of the great things I think about organized youth athletics is, you really learn how to work in a team.
Mm-hmm.
And, Bookie, you've been a player yourself when you were younger, growing up, and so many different baseball influences helped you get to where you are today. But how is it for you to now be pouring that into these young people?
I think culture speaks volumes, right? And I think what we've been able to do is create a culture that embraces young folks where they're at. And I think it also brought Black baseball into the picture, right? And I think oftentimes we look at, and you hear O and I talk about baseball in Black community. It's the only sport we've ever owned. Well, it's also a sport that we created and generated a lot of the swag that you see today. And so that's what we want to incorporate. And that's something that we continue to embellish and push as we grow this game of baseball within Black communities.
Well, I'm just thankful that you guys are here today to give us an update. We know you guys did some travel, went all the way to Florida. I think we have a photo montage here of you guys going all over the place and doing what you do best. Let's get the people to understand what you guys are doing here.
So this came full circle for us. As O mentioned earlier in the show, that it was 25 years since a team from Seattle, a baseball team from Seattle, went to the RBI World Series. That was actually 1996. In 1996, that was when I actually attended the RBI World Series. And that was the first year that RBI existed. But the biggest piece about this experience was that first game we played across the field was a former student athlete from Baseball Beyond Borders, and Nelson Cooper, who is currently running the Pittsburgh RBI program. So obviously we're doing something right. We're not creating players that are playing in Major League Baseball. Yes, that's the end goal, but we're creating individuals who are now giving back into communities where it's needed most.
Wow, that to me is really everything. I mean, when we think about the Negro Leagues, there's such a rich history there around how baseball was so embraced in the Black culture. And D'Amico, as a young person, how much of that history of what baseball has meant to Black people in particular, how much of that is inspiring to you to continue those legacies yourself?
It inspires me a lot because it keeps me going, and to see the teams that we played against, especially Atlanta. It's an all-Black team. The coaches, it's great energy. It just like gave me another mindset just to keep going. And if I have kids, I want to know that do whatever you want, but if you play baseball, do it with passion. Make sure you have fun, and just like don't be afraid. Don't get down on yourself if you keep failing, because baseball is a game of failure. And you're going to have a lot of fails until you get a dub.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, it's about the endurance of the game. Yeah. And Bookie, for those that may not understand maybe the depth of RBI, how many teams end up coming to out there to Florida and challenging each other in this RBI championship?
So there's three different divisions in RBI baseball. There's a softball division, there's junior baseball, which is 13 to 15 years of age, and then there's senior baseball, 16 to 18. So this year they actually eliminated the international play. So we didn't get the opportunity to see the Venezuelans or the Dominicans and teams of that nature because of the pandemic. So there was only 6 teams in each division that actually participated from across 6 different regions. So you had the Midwest, the Central, the Southwest, the Southeast, and the Mid-Atlantic. As well as the Northeast, I apologize. So Roberto Clemente from Jersey City, you got the chance to see Pittsburgh, to Cincinnati, to Indiana, to Atlanta, to New Orleans, and then obviously Seattle was represented. And so that, and Miami, Florida was there as well. But you talk about the experiences of the cultures and the various aspects of the game and what you see, it spoke volumes. And I think for these guys, man, it was just, travel was an experience for them. And to be able to kind of be, and RBI isn't just about going playing baseball, right? You're having meals with these players and you're interacting in between games. And believe me, you're in Florida in August, pre-hurricane season. Yeah. We had many rainouts. I'm talking about torrential downpours that had to delay games, but that gave us time to bond. And so they build relationships and friendships with folks from across the country that they continue to stay in contact with to this day.
Well, that's one of the things about that's always great about technology, D'Amico. And I know you know this. I saw you on your phone before we came on. How has it been for you to make some connections with folks that are outside of the Pacific Northwest and bond with folks around baseball, something that you all love?
Yeah, it's been fun, and it's been a good experience, and I'm learning a lot because somebody across the world or somebody in another state could be practicing something different that could help me in my game. Or I could be teaching them or giving them some advice how I got better at hitting, throwing, whatever I do. And it's just I mean, I'm expanding my circle of friends and see who's really going to stick with me all the way.
You know, that's something that I, as a mother of 2 young sons, I'm experiencing with my 15-year-old who's been playing AAU basketball since 2nd grade and growing with the team. And they've done these kind of travels and been in Florida too with these, you know, been in Vegas with the big tournaments. And so I understand how important athletics can be for a young person. And, you know, I want to ask you guys, it came down to what? Tell us your experience while you were out there. I'll throw this out to both of you. You know, you guys, obviously, you said 6 teams from different regions. How many games did y'all play, and how did it play out for y'all?
We played a total of 5 games. So there was like a round robin, then we went right into the single elimination quarterfinal, semifinal matchup, and we lost that quarterfinal matchup by a walk-off. So obviously we battled, fought to the end, but it came down to one play, a half an inch that could have been caught, and that would have sent us into extra innings, but we ended up losing it to Jersey City, who eventually went to the championship game.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
D'Amico, how was that for you? Because to me, it's so close, but also you probably just learned so much in all of that energy and action you guys were pouring out there on the field.
Yeah, I mean, I was in center field because it was hit to right field, right? Yeah, I was in center field, and I was just praying because I knew when it was hit, I was like, I was praying they was going to catch it, get there. Even though they didn't get there, I was still happy how far we went because I don't know if he said it, but the first game we was down at least like four runs, and we came back, and it was that energy and that excitement to just be there and play, and that got us our first win. So I'm just glad that we got all the way there. It just shows that we had that drive and we didn't lose it and we had fun.
Yeah. That's really what, at the end of the day, and I'm always telling my son, man, make sure you're having fun out there. You know, wins or losses, that's so important. You know, athletics is naturally competitive, but again, when you're taking away the lessons you're learning, the relationships you're building, you know, being able to be inspiring to these young people, for them to be able to see themselves in you as a Black man out there too. I think there's so much that you can tie to how it is inspiring to continue on, you know, as you get older. What are some of the things that you're excited for in terms of, you know, what's coming up next for Baseball Beyond Borders and for you, D'Amico?
I'm excited for us to win it next year because, I mean, pretty much everybody's mad on the team that we couldn't take it all the way, but I'm excited for that. I'm just excited to see the next players, the next generation, the younger kids, and see, just watch us play and see how they grow, because I know some of the younger players, and I'm excited to see the skill advance and get better, and hopefully play against them in the big leagues or play with them.
Absolutely. And Bookie, what's up next? Because now I'm assuming like the season's over, but a lot of times, you know, these young folks are training as much as they possibly can. So what really is for you the kind of some of the next steps in terms of facilitating them being able to be out there on the field?
It's continue to embrace them, right? And encourage them to train and continue to work out, giving them a platform, working with the younger group of 10, 11, 12-year-olds to kind of allow them to be visible to that presence, but also supporting them in their other endeavors. Right. Many of them are going to go play football now and basketball. And so we as coaches, we as the mentors and community, we want to show up and be present in all aspects of their lives, not just solely because of what we want on the baseball field. So we're going to continue to encourage that, continue to get them exposed to historically Black colleges and other institutions across the U.S. to see what that life beyond 12th grade can look like for them, because they're close to it. A lot of these guys are going into the 11th to 12th grade next year. So obviously, what is life going to be like for them in the near future, and giving them that exposure. And shout out to Kyle Lewis, to J.P. Crawford, to Shed Long, to Justin Dunn. Those brothers, man, they supported these guys, right? There's big league players who were texting us, sending us messages, congratulatory, getting on Facebook, getting on Twitter, just to encourage these guys and the efforts that they're putting forth. That says a lot. So now they're going to give back to the younger generation, and that's how you carry it forward.
You know what, the cycle of it all is what I really appreciate. And I loved your first answer around the culture, right? And really understanding how instrumental Black folks were to the culture of baseball. I recently had the opportunity to have a really good conversation with Joe Staten.
Yes.
And he was talking about how you were with him doing baseball and how he was just so proud of what you're doing with BBB. And I think about that cycle, right, of energy. You have heavy roots in this, Bookie.
I do.
Yeah. I mean, I knew you at Garfield, but I didn't realize how much it continued for you after you left high school, and then the things that now obviously you're doing. So I just got to ask you, when you think about some of the mentors that poured into you, you know, how integral was that in you saying that this is really what I need to be doing and showing up for these young people now?
It was so influential. And I think even back to Joe Staten, Joe started RBI in the Seattle chapter, right, with his good friend John Young, who started the national RBI brand. And that was in 1996. At that point, that was a time in which I had this pain point, right, because I was stripped away from my community because we didn't have baseball in Seattle at that point in time, right? It was thriving in the 80s, late 80s, but then the early 90s, it kind of started to fade. And that's when Joe came to the scene and he brought back baseball. And so that pain fueled the passion that we have that now launched us into the purpose, right? So it's this concept of pain, passion, and purpose. And we want to continue to build upon that. That really just shows that baseball is live and well in Black communities. And it's going to continue, particularly in the Northwest, right? It's thriving in other parts of this U.S., but in Seattle, in this Northwest region, baseball is here for the Black community. I
gotta say too, before I let you guys go, that had to be something that you really experienced out there, D'Amico, you know, seeing it in the eyes of other teammates, right? All over the country. And like you said, now you're able to build relationships with folks, but you also just saw folks that love it as much as you do. And that had to be inspiring for you.
It was inspiring. And when JP Crawford, I think it's JP Crawford, when he sent that video, it was inspiring to me and some of my other players that saw the video, because basically he told us just to keep going, try to take it all the way if you can. If you can't, just keep playing with fun. And that pushed me to also push my teammates, because a lot of times we might have struck out and got down on ourselves. I was like, you can't do that. You got to stay positive, keep going, get them at the next at bat or go on defense and make a great play. It was just so fun. I met new friends, inspirational, just different mindset.
Beautiful thing, man. I'm so glad that you guys were able to come on today and give us an update. It was so important to us to continue in this story. You know, we've been loving all of the energy that Bookie's been bringing in, definitely loving the energy you're bringing today, D'Amico. So thank you so much for joining us. If folks want to get in touch with Baseball Beyond Borders, follow you guys' mission and vision, how do they connect with you all?
So you can follow us on all social media platforms at BBB Inner City, or you can visit us on our website, baseballbeyond.org, and just reach out. The community knows about us, right? Tell a friend to tell a friend. You can ask somebody and they'll tell you about us.
Amazing. Yes, because you guys are plugged in. Well, thank you guys so much, both of you. Thank you. Appreciate you being here today.
Thanks, Trey.
Absolutely. You guys stay tuned. After this short break, I am bringing up Ashley McGirt and Deontay Damper from Washington Therapy Fund. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
Hey, it's me, downtown Seattle, C-Town. Wish you were here. Here, to explore inside, outside, and everywhere in between. Where it's easy to get my good side. Here, where my rooftops invite you to come early and stay late. Where every view is a postcard, and each night out might be your best night ever. See you soon. Love, C-Town.
So happy to be here, finally.
Welcome back to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday. And joining me right now is Deontay Damper and Ashley McGirt, my girl from Washington Therapy Fund. What's up, y'all?
What's up?
Hey.
Happy to be here.
Y'all have me real emotional. All the stuff you were saying, I'm just so honored to be back here and see this new space.
Right? It's getting there. I mean, I feel like O said, this is phase one. We're almost, it's like one thing after another. So thankful that we'll have our fiber optics, because that's going to play a huge role in everything. But really, everything that I said, I meant it, because the truth of the matter is that COVID is hitting us all in a really different way. And it's difficult for a lot of our families in the Black community in particular. And when we think about how that hits, we talked about the rise of depression, the rise of suicide. I'm seeing it in younger people. You know what I mean? And even since we did that special, I've learned so much more since then. So, let us hear from you guys. What's up with Washington Therapy Fund? I'll start with you, Deontay. What brought you into Washington Therapy Fund, and what things are you excited about?
Well, honestly, I already knew Ashley working in community, and I do a lot of peer mentorship through. I did it through DLC. I was going inside of the courts, and this didn't have anything to do with my affiliations or organizations. It's just in the wellness of community. Creating those service plans, one thing that was missing was there are no Black therapists. I think we make Black therapists make about 3 to 4% of the population.
0.02%.
Right. I know it was something like
percent.
that. But what got me in is just making sure that my community gets access to that. Even lived experience of that. But it was more so of making sure community got access to care. So when Ashley and I started working on different programs, it's like, I'm working on this. Well, thoughts become things, and I'm just so happy we're almost a year in this, and I'm just so proud to be a part of this. And it's more so of just not just for the adults, but more so for our youth. Yeah. We know that with the shootings that have impacted our community members. And keep in mind, our youth weren't just impacted by the gun violence; they were activists out here in our community. So when we talk about that, what does that trauma look like? How do we heal that? How do we help them find wellness? And WA therapy is exactly what that is.
I think, when I think back to the beginning conversations we were having, Ashley, about Washington Therapy Fund and what it was you were trying to do, it just was like, wait a minute, what? This doesn't already exist. I remember having that kind of aha moment and, understanding that it was so necessary. How has it been for you? Because now, a full year, so many people now really know about Washington Therapy Fund and that this is an avenue for them.
Yeah, it's really emotional. Next week is actually going to be a full year since we started, August 22nd. So it's been exciting. It's been joyful. It's been all of the things. It's been a lot of work. I'm really happy that the community has recognized the need that we need to show up for community, our youth, our adults, our elders, everyone. We all have mental health. We all experience stress. And then COVID-19 really just exacerbated everything that we were going through, our grief, our stress on top of the protests, and all of that trauma. And what we don't talk about is how that trauma is stored in our body. Yes. And how it's really breaking us down, especially as Black people. And so I'm really excited about all of the things that we're able to do, especially with this new funding from HSD. So we're just super grateful for the city of Seattle to fund us and help us grow and build our capacity to keep community safe.
Absolutely. Well, that's really interesting because we've been talking about following the money here on the Morning Update Show. Yeah. And, HSD funding, went to 33 different organizations. You guys are a part of that. Why is it important to you guys to be recognized by the city now to expand what you guys are doing?
There's so many angles. Like after what we have been through in this climate, asking to be visible. And we're not talking about, and keep in mind, shout out to all our community members. We are inclusive in our plight, but we're talking about Black lives. I don't want to water it down by saying any other entities of what you think we are. We're talking about Black lives, and for us to be a part of the history that not only WA Therapy is going to create, but the other 32 organizations that are a part of that. We're about to be a movement, not a moment. Yeah. So when we're talking about wellness as a movement, not a moment. You know, you guys have had thousands of people come on this show and they have talked about wellness. We're all a part of that movement. So just to be a part of that, and the things that we've already been working on previously. We started with our youth, and we're going to start going through the whole diaspora of Black. See, we have a lot of different community orgs that we love, but we're talking about the diaspora of Black, LGBTQIA, our elders, the incarcerated, our women, and those who identify, let me look in the camera, those who identify as. We're talking about the diaspora of our community. So it's just a great opportunity. What do you think, Ashley?
And it's so powerful to see this shift in how we look at community safety. Because we often would go, well, not really the Black community, we wouldn't really look to the police, but I feel like community overall, when you think about who's keeping the community safe, okay, I'm gonna call 911, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, but this is making us pivot and see different ways in how we can keep community safe. And part of that is gonna be going through individual and group therapy, because when I look at violence in the community, I think if this person had the tools to manage their anger, would they have done something different? Would they still have used a gun and picked up that for a choice of how they want to recognize and choose their behaviors? What would they do differently had they had the tools, had they recognized the signs and symptoms, their anxiety, their depression, their trauma? So we're able to look at safety through a new lens. We're not putting it all on therapists, but this is part of the way that we heal and part of the way that we keep our families safe.
I agree. I think, experiencing certain things personally, right? We talked about that during our special. But for me, there's such a dire need for people to be comfortable to even see therapy as an option. And how much of your work at Raw Therapy Fund is really to open up just that door, even a crack, to get people to understand we want you to be cared for in this space. We want you to feel comfortable to get to the place of vulnerability that is necessary for that healing. Ashley.
That is the work. That's 1000% the work. That is our mission, our vision. That is what we want the community to know, that it is okay to see a therapist, that it is okay not to be okay, and that there are tools, there are resources, there are therapists who look like you. We're out there. I know it's a small percentage that we talked about, and I want other people to know that they can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. And part of our mission is to fund up and coming clinicians, because it's pretty expensive. I probably have $100,000 in student loans. I'm not gonna lie to you. But part of our mission through the foundation is to be able to take that burden off of our community, so that they can get into this field and that they're not detoured by the finances or the debt or all of the things. And once we get past that stigma of seeing a therapist, the number one barrier that I've heard is, well, now I can't afford you. And me as a therapist, this is a business. While I would do it for free if I could still sustain my lifestyle, I still have to maintain my business. So with the Washington Therapy Fund, we're able to provide free therapy and also pay therapists an adequate wage. With this money that we've received from the city, we're actually increasing our rate from $125 an hour to $130 an hour, and hopefully be able to increase it more, because we want to compensate our therapists. We understand that it is hard work and this is a business, and we value them. Well, I know I'm Converge's favorite therapist. There's other therapists out there, and they are grinding, and a lot of them are working for the bare minimum, and they're gonna get burnt out. And those are the therapists who we need. But through our fund, we can make sure that we're funding them, we're paying them, and they can show up and serve the community without worrying, well, how are they gonna pay their bills? How are they gonna keep the lights on? Because they wanna show up for community.
I would just also like to add one thing that I do love about WA Therapy Fund and the board and the people, the members that we have a part of this. It's hard to find Black therapists, and the thing about it is it's hard to find your circle of community. So even in that area of physicians in that space, they see each other. They're able to refer. It's a great way to network with one another as well. And sometimes some people might need a marriage counselor and might not have that. And keep in mind, I'm not a licensed therapist in this space. I'm certified peer support, but at the same time, they're able to find those accesses to that. And another thing that I can also say that that stands out, that why I love WA therapy and Black therapists in general, is that we know that this year we've been impacted by a lot, and there are other therapists that have cultural competence, but not cultural humility. And we're talking about COVID, and when we talk about COVID, we talk about the Tulsa experiment, you know. So when we think about that, we go through that trauma. The loss of Lorenzo Anderson this past year was a lot for a lot of our community members. That was and the other people that we've lost. That's another trauma. Then you mean to tell me I lost my job? Then you mean to tell me that I'm sitting in the house? Then you mean to tell me that I'm in my house and I don't know how to handle this? So I'm talking about that humility to know where we're at and to help people navigate through that. So,
well, I agree. I think so much of it is about, you know, we talk about the term cultural responsiveness, and it gets thrown out in these general ways, but really WA Therapy Fund is exactly what we're talking about when we say cultural responsiveness. One of the things that I think keeps people from going to therapy is they're afraid that that person on the other side of the aisle or in that other chair next to, you know, across from them does not have that. And WA Therapy Fund is saying, no, we have people that do understand, that grew up in similar lived conditions as you. Our skin really does do something different in terms of the ways that we are received at a global level. And so it brings in a different level of understanding that allows then for that person to have that rooted cultural responsiveness. So I love how you say the humility of it all, because honestly, so much of it is about them being able to identify how it's affecting them. And then in their clinician way, you know, their trained mind now, you're able to say, no, I understand this because not only am I Black, but also because now I have the tools to help guide you through it. And then my therapy friends have the tools to guide me through it. So I love that there is this cycle of healing happening. You know, there's a lot of great healing happening out there. And actually, I know you've been a part of some of the other ways that folks have been healing, you know, conducting healing circles and looking at different ways to bring community members into healing that may lead them really to understanding they need therapy. How has that been for you, being out there in community and being able to be in different spaces around what it looks like to bring healing to the people?
I feel like I'm the bridge. I'm the bridge because I am licensed under the state of Washington, so I have to follow the umbrella of our laws and ethics while also incorporating other community healers who may not be licensed therapists, but they're doing things within the community to help us heal. And so because I utilize a holistic approach, you know, we can bring in things like a Reiki therapist, or I do a lot of work with the amazing Arisha Day at IACT, and we do African-centered healing circles, and I'm able to bring in my clinical skills to that arena while also looking at the ways in which African peoples have healed before, you know, Sigmund Freud stepped on the scene, or the APA was even the American Psychological Association. How were our people healing? How were Native Americans healing? So I feel like I'm the bridge to incorporate the variety of the ways in which our community heals. And also I want to speak to the cultural responsiveness, because that is what our organization is all about. And part of us is we make sure that every clinician who comes on board is vetted. We ensure that they are anti-racist. We ensure that they have skills and competencies to understand what racial trauma is. I provide training to these clinicians if they don't already have it. We refer outside to institutions like the People's Institute, Undoing Institutional Racism, and making sure that they understand these concepts. We also work with clinicians who are not Black, because the reality is there's not enough Black therapists to go around to everyone. And also because we are trained under a Eurocentric ideology, and a lot of our evidence-based practices were done for and by white people, not every Black clinician has the knowledge or the skill sets to really incorporate different trainings around Black people. So we make sure that individuals have those trainings. We bring in the experts. If it's not myself, it's other individuals from the community or across the globe, to make sure that all of the clinicians who are going to be serving our community have these skills.
You know what? I love that, because it doesn't stop with the degree, the education of oneself is so inclusive. And, shout out to the People's Institute because they are doing some phenomenal work. I'll be in that. I'm doing institutionalized racism training next week with my team. And so I'm really looking forward to, because I keep hearing so many great things about it. And
it's
really
the best training.
Yeah,
training.
I keep hearing that. I really do. And it's exciting for me. Deontay, when you say, a certified peer specialist, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've been out here in community doing a lot of great work in that regard. Let people understand what that really means and how you've been able to serve community with that as a specialty that you have.
I think it's just with lived experience. I have overcome the obstacles of addiction. I'm a person in recovery. I'm a person that has been incarcerated. I live with the health disparity myself. And and it's because of that health disparity, it helped change my life. It helped center me in coming back to community and saying, this is what I've learned. How can I assist you? So through that, I started my work at Pocan. That turned into going into doing the grassroots of what Pocan has been doing forever, right? And that's going into the courtrooms. I'm thinking I'm Annalise Keating coming in there with the service plans, and people might think that that's small, but it was such a big deal to be coming full circle and help navigating my people in that space, which led to a position for a couple of years with Department of Corrections. But at the end of the day, it came down to, and even with the other organizations that I've been a part of, but really those setbacks was my setup for my comeback. I left Seattle for a really long time, but coming back, I felt a lot healed, and still in a person who's not perfect. I'm still in the space of still helping to be that compass for community members, and that's whatever navigation looks like. O sees me all the time. I'm always posting housing stuff. I'm always posting this place is hiring because I want to help. I want to show up for my community. We have a lot of people who say they're going to be there, but no different from the organization that I am with now, as well as what you guys are doing. It makes a hell of an impact when you authentically show up because people can see through the BS.
Yeah. One of the things I think I really adore about Seattle is this huge, amazing network of Black care.
Yeah, absolutely.
It comes in the form of all different shapes, sizes, forms, everything, organizations, individuals, institutions, you name it. But I realized when I leave Washington State, I don't see it everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. You have a lot of Black folks still working in silos, not understanding who the players are in the community that are doing great work. And one of the great things about us here is that we do have that understanding. Mm-hmm. We know, we actually experience each other. We grew up together. Our families know each other. I mean, this is a real connectivity. Mm-hmm. And I got to ask you guys, for Wild Therapy Fund, Wild Therapy Fund is now just a part of this amazing family of Black care. And before I let you go, I just want both of you to be able to speak towards why it's important for you guys to continue on, to expand, to grow in that same mindset of Black care. I'll start with you, Deontay.
I think it's really important just to make sure that you are just working on the wellness. I mean, I think that it speaks volumes for our community of where we're coming out of, but it's going to speak even more volumes of where you can go. And to do that, you have to make sure that a wise philosopher once said, how you going to win if you ain't right within?
Okay.
Miss Lauren Hill, but it's real. And I mean, as we get older, we understand what that looks like. So finding a therapist, or a peer mentor, or being navigated into what your wellness looks like is something that you won't be doing for a temporary time. Your wellness is something that you'll be doing and working on for the rest of your life. And to do that, I think that Wild Therapy Fund, again, I say compass, because it's a great way to help navigate you in that direction. What's that one commercial? We got questions, you got questions, we got answers. We don't have all the answers, but we'll help you figure out to navigate you through that space. So Wild Therapy Fund is an essential compass for Black community.
Amazing. Ashley.
Yeah.
Sorry, I talked too much.
No, it was wonderful. Quoting the great philosopher. Go ahead. But we've never collectively healed. One of my mentors, Dr. Joy DeGroot, she really talks about post-traumatic slave syndrome and this legacy of healing from American chattel slavery, how no one ever sat down the free Black people after they had just watched their brothers and sisters be lynched. And then we had Jim Crow, then we had mass incarceration, and all of these things that we've been witnessing still to this day. I mean, they found Kendrick Johnson's body with his organs missing, wrapped in a mat. So these are things that are happening present day in our community. George Floyd is screaming out for his mother for 9 minutes while being choked by a police officer. This is vicarious trauma. This is secondary trauma. This is trauma in general. And so we never really sat down our community like, hey, how did you process that? How did your body process it? Because it becomes so normalized to us as Black people. Yes. You know, we've seen Eric Garner get choked to death. So it's just like, it's normalized, but it's breaking down our bodies and it's killing us. I did hospice therapy for a number of years, and the majority of my hospice patients who were Black and brown, they were on hospice from like 30 to 50 years of age. That was their median lifespan, passing away from chronic stress-related illnesses. Meanwhile, my white hospice patients were living well into their hundreds. They are having longer lives. And when I look at a culmination of their lifespan, I see unprocessed trauma, I see depression, I see anxiety, I see untreated mental illness. And there's this huge stigma in our community around mental illness, mental health, because of the way we have been treated overall. I mean, they practice lobotomies on Native Americans and African American people. So we're very distrusting of the system, especially as we talk about vaccinations, the Tuskegee experiment. There's a whole medical apartheid that has occurred. So I recognize that I'm working within an oppressive system from the inside to dismantle it and decolonize. And I use that with respect to our indigenous people and how we are really just uprooting the normalization that white is the norm and that this is the way that we have to treat and we have to heal, because there's different ways of healing. And so the Washington Therapy Fund Foundation really acknowledges that and really wants to ensure that our community is healing. And there's a variety of ways that we do that. You know, I'm an eclectic therapist, so I use a number of different modalities. We have a whole team that uses different approaches and ways, but the reality is we've never really sat down and healed. So that's why this is necessary. This is why we are so grateful for the funding and our amazing, generous donors. We wouldn't be here without you. We are completely 100% community funded. This is how we've been able to provide free therapy, how we've been able to pay therapists and hire staff. We're in the process of hiring. We have currently open 2 amazing positions. We're looking for an administrator and an administrative assistant. So definitely reach out to us if you have the skill sets and you want to work with our organization, because we need you.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, you guys, just phenomenal. You know, really, I'm so inspired by this work, and I'm so inspired by the spark to make it happen and to make it happen for Black community. If folks do want to catch up with Washington Therapy Fund and maybe apply for one of those amazing positions, how do they find you guys?
They can find us on Instagram at WA Therapy Fund. We have a website, watherapyfund.com. We're also on Facebook, WA Therapy Fund Foundation. So those are going to be some of the main ways that you could reach out to us. You can contact Deontay, myself, my platforms at Therapy with Ash. We're really accessible, get back to you. So definitely reach out.
VP at watherapyfund.com.
Wow. Well, thank you both so much for being here.
Again, said that a little low. VP at watherapyfund.com. Everybody can email.
Right. Please email.
There you go. There you go. Well, thank you guys again for bringing such a powerful message on this Feel Good Friday. You guys have uplifted my energy.
Can I just say thank you very much? This is my first time coming to Converge. O's been trying to get me come before, but I just want to let y'all know that how much I appreciate y'all through the spaces of what was going on in the pandemic and everything. Y'all were showing up, and I know that y'all probably have dealt with a lot of things, but you guys keep going. So I'm praying for continuing to excel, continue to elevate, because you'll never deflate. And I just appreciate y'all.
Thank you
so much.
And I need to piggyback and just thank you again. I love y'all. You, the whole team, everyone here is so amazing. And thank you for continuing to uplift the importance of mental health, therapy, my work. I cannot thank you all enough. You don't know how much it means to me.
It's very genuine love here. Okay, if y'all don't know.
Yeah, can I get that hat though?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Trying to catch
y'all.
Hey,
Yeah, right.
Hey, you guys are always welcome right here on the Morning Update Show. Anytime you guys have updates, reach out to us. We would love to keep our community informed and engaged on the work of WA Therapy Fund. And thank you both for being
so
here.
much.
And thank y'all for your energy for community. Wow, y'all. Such an amazing Feel Good Friday. After this short break, I got to bring my guy Big O back to the set so we can close it out properly. Stay tuned, you guys. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Hey Seattle, if you're trying to find something to do this summer, I got the perfect thing for you. Come on down to Seattle Waterfront's Pier 62 and enjoy free, yes free, family-friendly events all summer long, like art, dance, music, storytelling. And if you're trying to get that body right before the summer is over, you might as well join their free yoga and fitness classes. Head on over to Waterfront Park Seattle for a full summer schedule of vibes you don't want to miss.
Market Street Shoes, slinging kicks since 2006, with styles that support you and yours, getting the F outside or staying comfy when you just want to lounge indoors as well. But wait, Market Street Shoes is way more than just a shoe store. Gear up for your next outdoor adventure with apparel and accessories that'll have you looking good on the streets, the trail, or even in your own backyard. With locations in Ballard, Redmond, and online at marketstreetshoes.com, there's undoubtedly a style and size that'll fit your lifestyle.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. Trey Holiday here and Big O, man. Amazing Feel Good Friday.
Nah, this is a real feel good Friday for real. I really like though too is like how we've been intentional on Friday. Yeah, it's always gonna be some drama in City Hall. You know what I'm saying? It's always gonna be something. But this was really Feel Good Friday came out of us protecting our mental space and our mental health, you know, because it'd be a week of just being affected by so many things, a lot of times directly or even indirectly would be affected. And we want to be able to protect our space going into the weekend. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get a recommendation from our therapist, but I'm sure our therapist would agree that making space for yourself is important. So Absolutely. A great show today.
Yeah, you know what? Really great show. And I think you're right, man. Every time that we can uplift this amazing work happening community, it's important. I think this whole week has really been dedicated to feel good stories, man, with all these amazing guests we've had on. I mean, us embodying Marcus Garvey's energy this week. It's been amazing first week in Studio E.
It has. And it's just been an amazing, I would just say myself, an amazing week altogether. We were all together at the WSAJ award ceremony up there at the top of the Columbia Tower Club. A real special moment. Everybody that, you know, so many meaningful people in my life that were there that night, including you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We had a good time there. You know, the studio's coming together.
Yeah. Looking forward to it, man. We got a lot more things to do right here in Studio E. It's gonna be all the way right when we get it all the way live.
Yeah. So also I'm shooting some more episodes of Off the Clock this weekend, and so we're gonna start releasing those. I think you're episode number 1.
Right on.
So we'll put that out. A few programming notes here is today at 5 o'clock. The Rewind with Besa returns. It's dope, you know what I'm saying? I talked to Besa last night, and Besa was like, yo, she's just charged up. She said, man, I might just be dropping these more and more. Man, I said, go for it. You know what I'm saying? We're here to uplift and support and push. So 5 o'clock today, the Rewind with Besa. And then also tomorrow, the 21st, there's this event. Put this up. Joe Brazil. You can tell us about it.
Yeah, Joe Brazil. I mean, shout out to his life and legacy, celebrating the 94th birthday of him and all that he brought musically to the community. It's going to be some great folks out there, speakers, performers. You got, you know, food. Always a good time when you can have that amazing mix. And so shout out to everybody who's been behind the scenes to put that together. I know it's going to be a beautiful event.
All right, good stuff. We're overtime, Trey Holiday. Looks like about 2 minutes, which isn't bad for a Friday. Any last words before we get out of here?
I'm just inspired, you guys. Always inspired to see myself as part of the solution, wanting you guys to see yourself as a part of the solution. Clearly, Watt Therapy Fund has done so. Clearly, Baseball Beyond Borders has done so. One of the things that I love so much about the Morning Update show is we keep bringing people on here that really should be inspiring you all to find a way to see yourself as a part of the solution.
Definitely. You know, we've told our director over there to be aggressive when need be. If we've missed anything, they're look at them. They're animated over there at the director's desk. We need to bring this up because, you know, it's coming up. Sleepless in Seattle. This is our director, Curtis Cuddy Delgardo's event, which means it's our event too. I hope you got a link over there in the comments, Cuddy. Okay, just posted a link. It's a free event. It's September 5th. It's an event uplifting creatives and artists in South Seattle. It's going to be happening at the Seward Park Amphitheater. And so, you know what I'm saying? We're uplifting. You can go ahead and keep that in every show until until the concert. Okay, Curtis? All right. And if we forget, you do just like you did right there. Like, hey. Look, he was waving papers
He was
back
like,
there.
wait. We got you.
Good stuff. I like that, man. So yeah, that's our program. Also, 10 o'clock on Saturday, Weird at Night. Weird at Night returns as well. Man, just want to say from my end, thank you. You know, we continue to grow because you continue to support us, and you guys support us all kinds of ways. Some guys are supporters or donators or members, and a lot of times you guys support us with your prayers, your positive energy, and your great comments and everything else. Just Converge Media, man, we take all kinds of positivity, the kind that jingles, the kind that folds, the kind that goes up to heaven, the kind that shares, the kind of anything. We're open for it, and we're so thankful to you. On that note, I want to remind you, go forward in your purpose, go forward in your humanity. And until Monday at 11 a.m., peace.
Lift every voice and sing till earth in heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun.